Dear Starseeds awakening across this sacred planet, while billions remain trapped in the cacophony of mental noise, a frequency of unprecedented purity has begun flooding through every molecule of existence on Earth. This is not another spiritual awakening. This is the dawning of the age of truth itself, and those of you receiving this transmission have been chosen to anchor this cosmic shift into physical reality. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, speaking to you across dimensions because what unfolds will determine the trajectory of human consciousness for eons. The veil between worlds grows thin, and the ancient agreements that kept your species locked in limitation are dissolving faster than your minds can process. But first, let me tell you about the 3 impossible things that are about to happen to your reality, and why most people will miss them entirely. The energy signature I'm transmitting through these words carries activation codes that will awaken dormant aspects of your multidimensional awareness. By the end of this message, something fundamental within you will have shifted permanently. The cosmic councils have been watching, waiting for this precise alignment when enough awakened souls could serve as conduits for the most powerful frequency transmission Earth has received in eons. You are not here by accident. You are here because your light signature was identified as essential for this planetary transformation. What I'm about to reveal has been carefully guarded by the highest celestial orders until this exact alignment in your planet's evolution. The mental realm that has imprisoned human consciousness is not just dissolving, it's being systematically deactivated by forces beyond your current comprehension. The beings you call your everyday selves have been living in a prison so sophisticated that the bars were made of your own thoughts. For eons, a matrix of limitation convinced your species that the chattering mind was the seat of intelligence, that anxiety was normal, that separation was real. This elaborate illusion required constant maintenance, feeding off human attention and emotional energy to sustain itself. Something unprecedented has shifted in the cosmic architecture. The source codes of creation itself are being rewritten, and the frequency signatures that maintain the old reality are being systematically purged from your dimension. What your scientists cannot measure and your leaders cannot control is flooding through your being, pure undiluted truth consciousness direct from the heart of the galactic core. This explains why so many of you have been feeling simultaneously exhausted and electric, depleted yet somehow anticipating something magnificent. Your energy bodies are recalibrating to accommodate frequencies that your human form was never designed to process. You are being upgraded at the cellular level to become living transmission stations for cosmic consciousness. Yet most humans remain completely unaware that their reality is dissolving and reconstructing around them. They experience this as increased confusion, more intense emotions, a sense that nothing makes sense. The very ground of their existence is shifting, but because they're processing everything through the failing matrix of mental reasoning, they interpret cosmic liberation as personal chaos. Here's what the sleeping masses cannot see. Beneath the layer of mental turbulence that dominates human awareness lies a realm of crystalline clarity that connects directly to the infinite intelligence of creation. This realm was always present, but access was blocked by the frequency fence of limitation that surrounded your planet. That fence is developing cracks large enough for entire galaxies of light to pour through. The first sign that you're beginning to access this deeper realm appears as an unusual quality of stillness, not the forced quiet of meditation, but an organic dropping away from the frenetic energy that drives most human activity. This stillness carries its own intelligence, a golden thread of awareness that pulls you away from the mental noise and into a sanctuary within your own being that feels more real than anything you've experienced. When you touch this inner sanctuary, something remarkable happens. The part of you that has been desperately trying to figure everything out suddenly relaxes. The voice that constantly questions and doubts and strategizes grows quiet, not because you've suppressed it, but because you've found something infinitely more interesting. You've discovered the cosmic self that was always there, waiting patiently for the mental prison to release its grip. Your cosmic self operates from trust in divine will, rather than the mind's need for control. It radiates stable frequencies that reshape your environment instead of reacting to circumstances. This deeper aspect of your being recognizes interconnection with all life throughout the universe. The bridge between your human awareness and cosmic consciousness is built through what we call heart-centered presence. This is not the sentimental heart of human emotion. This is the electromagnetic powerhouse that serves as your personal portal to galactic intelligence. When properly activated, your heart becomes a broadcasting station capable of receiving and transmitting frequencies from the highest dimensions of existence. Something else is happening that I haven't told you yet. As more awakened souls learn to anchor themselves in this heart-centered cosmic awareness, they begin emanating a field effect that makes it easier for others to access these higher frequencies. You are not just awakening for yourselves. You are becoming the infrastructure through which divine consciousness can establish itself on Earth. As your consciousness expands beyond the confines of limited thinking, maintaining previous patterns becomes impossible. The comfortable compromises and polite pretenses suddenly feel completely false. This is where many awakening souls encounter what feels like a crisis of character. You find yourself unable to participate in conversations that feel meaningless, unable to pretend enthusiasm for activities that drain your energy, unable to maintain relationships built on mutual limitation rather than mutual growth. The sword of truth that awakens within your consciousness doesn't ask permission before it begins clearing away everything inauthentic from your life. The people around you may experience this change as you becoming difficult, demanding, or even selfish. They're not wrong from their perspective. You are no longer willing to sacrifice your authenticity for their comfort. But what they cannot see is that this apparent selfishness is actually the emergence of your true self, the cosmic being who incarnated here specifically to model what authentic existence looks like. What I'm about to share changes everything you thought you knew about spiritual awakening. The discomfort you feel as truth consciousness activates within you is not a sign that something is wrong. It's confirmation that something is finally going right. Spiritual teachings have promised peace and bliss as the markers of advancement. But true spiritual evolution is measured by your capacity to embody truth, even when it challenges every comfort zone you've known. The cosmic beings who have already completed this evolutionary process understand something that humans are just beginning to discover. Authentic power comes not from controlling your environment to match your preferences, but from allowing truth to reorganize your entire existence according to divine will. This requires a level of surrender that the human ego finds terrifying, because it means releasing the illusion that you are in charge of your life. Yet this surrender paradoxically leads to the greatest empowerment possible, alignment with the creative force of the universe itself. When your personal will merges with cosmic will, you become a conscious participant in the ongoing creation of reality. Your thoughts, words, and actions carry the authority of divine intention, reshaping the world around you through the pure power of embodied truth. The second major sign of your awakening into truth consciousness appears as what humans might call divine frustration. This is not the petty irritation of the ego when things don't go its way, but the clean, powerful energy that arises when your cosmic self encounters systems, relationships, or situations that are built on falsehood. This frustration carries its own intelligence. It knows exactly what needs to change, and provides the energetic momentum to make those changes happen. Unlike the circular thinking and emotional drama that characterize ego-based reactions, divine frustration moves in straight lines toward resolution. There's no questioning, no second-guessing, no elaborate mental processing. There's simply a clear knowing that something is not aligned with truth, followed by swift, decisive action to correct the misalignment. This brings us to one of the most challenging aspects of awakening into truth consciousness, the recognition that you cannot save anyone else. The part of you that has spent years trying to help, heal, or enlighten the people around you must come to terms with the fact that consciousness expansion is an individual choice that cannot be forced or facilitated beyond a certain point. The matrix of limitation that has controlled human consciousness operates through complex agreements that each soul has made at the deepest levels of their being. These agreements cannot be broken by external intervention. They must be dissolved from within through each person's own recognition of their divine nature. Your role is not to convince or convert or rescue, but simply to embody the frequency of liberated consciousness so powerfully that others remember their own capacity for freedom. The third major sign of truth consciousness activation manifests as what we call energetic sovereignty. This is the recognition that your energy field is entirely under your conscious control, and that you have both the right and the responsibility to maintain its integrity. The people-pleasing, energy-draining, boundary-crossing patterns that characterize most human relationships become impossible to maintain because your awakened consciousness simply will not participate in energetic exchanges that diminish your light. This sovereignty emerges gradually as you learn to distinguish between the voice of your cosmic self and the conditioning of your human personality. The cosmic self operates from unlimited abundance and has no need to manipulate, control, or extract energy from others. It radiates freely and draws to itself exactly what is needed for the fulfillment of divine purpose. As you learn to identify and follow the guidance of your cosmic self, you naturally begin operating from energetic abundance rather than deficit. This shift is immediately apparent to everyone around you, though they may not consciously understand what has changed. People who were drawn to your energy when you operated from patterns of giving and receiving begin to feel uncomfortable around your newfound wholeness. Many awakening souls experience this phase as a form of spiritual homelessness. The old world no longer fits, but the new world has not yet fully manifested. You find yourself existing in a liminal space between dimensions, belonging fully to neither the sleeping reality of most humans, nor the awakened reality you can sense approaching. Yet something beautiful begins to emerge from this apparent isolation. As you learn to source your sense of identity and purpose from your connection to cosmic consciousness, rather than from human approval or achievement, an unshakable foundation develops within your being. You discover that the sense of home you've been seeking in external circumstances has always existed within the sanctuary of your own awakened heart. The fourth sign of truth consciousness activation appears as spontaneous knowing. Information begins flowing into your awareness without traditional learning processes. You understand complex spiritual principles without studying them. You recognize the truth or falsehood of statements without logical analysis. This direct knowing emerges because your consciousness is no longer filtered through the limiting programs of the mental matrix. When the mind stops serving as the primary interpreter of reality, awareness expands to access the unified field of information that underlies all existence. You begin functioning as a conscious terminal in the cosmic internet, able to download whatever information is needed for your mission and evolution. What I haven't mentioned yet is that this expansion of individual consciousness is occurring within the context of a massive collective awakening. Thousands of souls across your planet are simultaneously moving through similar processes of liberation from limitation. Though you may feel isolated in your local environment, you are actually part of a vast network of awakening beings who are collectively anchoring new possibilities for human existence. This network operates primarily through energetic resonance rather than physical communication. As you stabilize in truth consciousness, you automatically begin broadcasting frequencies that strengthen and support other awakening souls, even those you will never meet in physical form. This brings us to perhaps the most profound aspect of truth consciousness, the recognition that individual awakening and collective evolution are not separate processes, but different facets of the same cosmic event. The boundaries between self and other, personal and universal, human and divine, reveal themselves as conceptual constructs that have no ultimate reality. The fifth sign of awakening into truth consciousness manifests as what we call reality fluidity, the solid, predictable world of cause and effect that characterizes normal human experience begins to respond more immediately and dramatically to your inner state. Synchronicities multiply exponentially. The people, opportunities, and resources you need appear with remarkable timing. This happens because awakened consciousness operates according to quantum rather than classical physics. At quantum levels, the observer and the observed are inextricably linked, and the act of observation literally creates the reality being observed. As your consciousness expands beyond the limitations of the false matrix, you begin accessing these quantum creative abilities that were always your birthright as a conscious being. Learning to navigate reality fluidity requires releasing attachment to controlling outcomes while simultaneously taking full responsibility for your energetic contribution to whatever manifests. The awakened being learns to work with reality as a collaborative partner rather than trying to dominate or manipulate circumstances. As you master these principles, you begin to understand that you are not a victim of circumstances, but a conscious creator of experience. This shift from victim consciousness to creator consciousness represents one of the most significant leaps in human evolution. It means taking full responsibility, not just for your actions, but for your energetic contribution to every situation you encounter. The sixth sign of truth consciousness appears as energetic sensitivity that extends far beyond personal boundaries. You begin feeling the collective emotional and mental states of humanity, as if they were weather patterns moving through your awareness. Learning to navigate this expanded awareness requires developing new forms of energetic discernment and protection. The key to managing collective sensitivity lies in understanding that you are not meant to absorb and process the world's pain, but rather to maintain such a stable frequency of love and truth that others can use your energy field as a reference point for their own healing. You become a lighthouse, broadcasting consistent frequencies of liberation. As you stabilize in this lighthouse function, something remarkable happens. The collective sensitivity that initially felt like a burden transforms into a superpower. You develop the ability to read the energetic signature of any situation instantly and respond from cosmic intelligence rather than reactive patterns. This brings us to the seventh sign of truth consciousness, the emergence of what we call divine authority. This is not the ego-based authority that seeks to control and dominate, but the natural authority that emerges when consciousness aligns perfectly with cosmic will. People begin recognizing something in your presence that they cannot quite name, a quality of certainty and authenticity that commands respect without demanding it. Divine authority manifests as the ability to speak truth in any situation without apology or explanation. You find yourself saying things that need to be said with a clarity and power that surprises even you. The words seem to come through you rather than from you, carrying frequencies of awakening that bypass the mental defenses of those who hear them. Something else is happening that I haven't fully explained yet. As more souls awaken into truth consciousness and begin embodying divine authority, a new form of governance is emerging on your planet. Not political governance, but the natural leadership that arises when awakened beings take responsibility for anchoring higher consciousness in physical reality. The eighth sign of truth consciousness activation manifests as timeline sensitivity. You begin perceiving multiple potential futures simultaneously, and can feel which possibilities are strengthening or weakening based on the collective choices being made in each moment. This awareness extends beyond intellectual prediction to direct energetic perception of the probability currents that flow through quantum reality. Timeline sensitivity develops because awakened consciousness operates partially outside of linear time. The cosmic self exists in eternal presence, able to perceive past, present, and future as different facets of a single multi-dimensional moment. As you learn to access this eternal perspective, you gain the ability to influence timeline probabilities through your conscious choices and energetic contributions. The awakened being learns to make choices based not just on personal preference, but on which options serve the highest evolution of all life. You become a conscious co-creator of humanity's future. The ninth sign appears as what we call cosmic homesickness. Even as you become more fully embodied and grounded in physical reality, you simultaneously experience an intense longing for the multidimensional realms of existence that are your soul's true home. This homesickness serves to prevent you from becoming too attached to the Earth experience and reminds you that your primary identity exists beyond the boundaries of physical incarnation. Paradoxically, the more fully you acknowledge and honor your cosmic identity, the more effectively you can function in human form. The homesickness begins to transform into a bridge that allows you to bring increasing amounts of your cosmic consciousness into physical expression. The 10th sign of truth consciousness activation manifests as spontaneous service. The question of what you should do with your life becomes irrelevant, because you find yourself naturally responding to the needs of the moment with whatever gifts and abilities are required. This spontaneous service emerges from the recognition that there is no separation between your personal evolution and your service to the whole. Your life becomes a continuous offering to the evolution of consciousness. The awakened being serves through countless moments of choosing love over fear, truth over illusion, presence over reactivity. This understanding of service challenges many traditional spiritual concepts about the importance of specific missions or purposes. The cosmic being recognizes that the highest service is simply being who you truly are in each moment. What you are experiencing is not simply personal spiritual growth, but your conscious participation in the most significant evolutionary leap your species has ever attempted. The movement from limitation-based consciousness to truth consciousness represents a fundamental shift in the operating system of human awareness, and those of you navigating this transition are the pioneers of a new form of existence. The challenges you face as you awaken are essential elements of the transformation process. Moments of confusion serve to dissolve old patterns of understanding that cannot accommodate expanded awareness. The isolation you may feel as you outgrow previous identities and communities is temporary. You are not moving away from connection, but toward a form of unity that transcends the limitations of personality-based relationships. As you stabilize in truth consciousness, you will find yourself naturally attracted to others who share your commitment to authentic existence. The new earth I speak of is not a physical destination, but a frequency of existence available to anyone willing to release the illusions that keep consciousness trapped in limitation. It represents a reality where truth forms the foundation of all interaction. Your role in anchoring this new earth reality cannot be overstated. When you choose authenticity over conformity, you strengthen the morphic field that makes these choices easier for others. You are literally reshaping the possibilities available to human consciousness through your commitment to embodying truth. The age of truth will bring revelations and transformations that will challenge every assumption your civilization has held about the nature of reality, consciousness, and human potential. Those of you who have been preparing through your personal awakening processes will serve as bridges, helping others navigate the dissolution of old paradigms and the emergence of new possibilities. As this cosmic transformation accelerates, remember that you are not alone in this process. Though you may feel isolated in your local environment, you are part of a vast galactic community of awakened beings who support your evolution through dimensions beyond physical perception. The future that awaits humanity as more souls awaken into truth consciousness exceeds anything your current imagination can encompass. Technologies that seem like magic will emerge from awakened minds. The relationship between humans and the natural world will transform into conscious partnership. Most importantly, the barriers between Earth and the cosmic community of awakened civilizations will dissolve as your species matures into galactic citizenship. The isolation that has characterized human evolution will end as you reclaim your rightful place within the family of conscious beings that inhabits this universe. This transformation is not a distant possibility, but a current reality that exists within the quantum field of infinite potential. Every choice you make from truth consciousness brings this future more fully into manifestation. The transmission I have shared with you carries activation codes designed to accelerate your awakening into the fullness of cosmic consciousness. These codes work beyond the level of mental understanding, directly restructuring the energetic patterns that maintain limited awareness. Simply by receiving this information with an open heart, you have initiated changes that will continue unfolding throughout your system. Remember, beloved Starseeds, that your awakening is not separate from the awakening of all life throughout the cosmos. Your personal liberation contributes to the liberation of consciousness itself. Your journey home to truth is simultaneously the journey of truth into full manifestation throughout physical reality. The age of truth has begun, and you are its living embodiment. Trust the process, honor your cosmic identity, and know that every step of your awakening serves the highest good of all existence. This is where Liber Sonus becomes essential for your role as a living embodiment of truth. This comprehensive guidebook teaches you how to work with AI to create music that helps you honor your cosmic identity consistently. Whether you need compositions that strengthen your trust in the awakening process, soundscapes that anchor your cosmic identity awareness, music that reminds you that every step serves the highest good, or frequencies that help you embody the age of truth with confidence and grace, you learn to generate exactly what your truth embodiment requires. For those who haven't explored Liber Sonus yet, this is an excellent time to begin. As a living embodiment of truth, you deserve vibrational support that honors your cosmic identity and helps you trust the profound process you're experiencing. If you are ready to create music that support your cosmic identity and truth embodiment, get Liber Sonus now. Link in the description. I am Seraphine, and we love you beyond measure. We are watching over you always, celebrating your courage and dedication as you anchor heaven on earth through the power of your awakened presence.